All right. I do believe we're live streaming to you live from Naples, Florida. Welcome to Sunday Night Alive, Spiritual Perspectives. My name is Reverend Denise Schubert. I am an ordained New Thought minister, and I come to you every Sunday night simply just to say hello and to shine a spiritual light, a spiritual perspective on some aspect of our living, our everyday lives. And so I'm very happy to be with you tonight. I'm very happy that some of you are with me, despite that there is a huge Wimbledon event happening tonight. So if you're here, say hello. Please say hello to me. I love seeing your names and your faces. I am here for you and because of you. So please do check in. Tonight, hi Suki, all the way North Carolina. Hello to you. Tonight, I've just had a wonderful day. Just so you know, today was my first day speaking at Unity Naples since I've returned there, and it was so much fun. And the community is so awesome. Hi, Doug, and it was just a wonderful day. So I'm kind of riding a little bit of a high right now, which is always awesome for me personally. Well, don't we all love being high a little bit some of the time? Okay. All right. We won't continue going down that road. Tonight, I am very excited. I've been doing 3 weeks on metaphysical movie interpretations. We started with Batman Begins, which is one of my favorites, really. Oh my God, my sister's with us. Hello. Batman Begins is one of my favorites. Cinderella, I love the take that Marianne Williamson has on the fairy godmother. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, please go back and listen. But tonight I'm doing my absolute favorite, which is SeaBiscuit. And I'm going to divulge to you the insider's secret about SeaBiscuit and why it has so much meaning for me in a minute. But first, I'm going to pray us in. I'm going to bless our time together. Oh, so as always, take a breath. Take a breath in your day. Take a breath in your life. Take a breath and realize that you are alive. You're here. Any day that we're alive and we're here is a good day. And I just take that moment to connect with you, each and every one of you personally, individually, knowing that there is a spiritual underground so that we are connected to each other in ways that we cannot possibly know. And I bless our time together, knowing that when we come together to shine the light of spiritual illumination, the light and love on life and its circumstances, conditions, people, places, and things, that something magnificent can happen. And so if you took the time to be here and I took the time to be here, I just bless it, calling it good. We let it be so, and so it is. Amen. Amen. So I want to give you a little bit of the backdrop to SeaBiscuit, because it's, you guys must think I'm crazy. Like who finds meaning in a movie about a racehorse? Like who does that, right? And I truly have been preaching about this horse for 15 years. And some people have loved me for it, and some people have hated me for it, because some people don't really like people who ride horses. But I'm going to tell you the backstory. So the backstory is I was married to a wonderful man who had a terrible problem with horse racing. Like he was a gambler and he could not stay off the horse track. He could not. And one day he said to me, come with me to go see a movie. It's called SeaBiscuit. To which I said, I am not going to see a movie about horse racing with you, because horse horse racing has caused me an enormous amount of misery in my life with you, and I'm not going. And I didn't go with him, but I did go later. So the very fact that I've been preaching about this movie, I mean, truly, I have preached about this movie for 15 years. And I hope he knows that, because it's so completely and totally ironic. So I'm going to do it again tonight with you as our final of this trilogy of metaphysical movie interpretation. SeaBiscuit has so much spiritual meat in it, so much food in it, that I can't do it all in our 30 minutes or 35 minutes together. But I'm going to start with the few really, really, really crucial nuggets of good. So for those who've never seen the movie, you don't have to. I'm going to set it up for you. So SeaBiscuit, SeaBiscuit is a real horse, and it's a real story. And SeaBiscuit was born, he was sired by royalty. He was born and bred by I don't remember the horse's name, but by a thoroughbred horse. But when he emerged as a colt, he was small and lazy and kind of grumpy. So everyone in his life at that time wrote him off as a losing horse. So the very first thing about this for us is something got proclaimed upon us upon our birth. And might not have been bad. It could have also been a very good thing, but that SeaBiscuit was born, and his world said, "You are too small. You will never be a great racehorse. Oh, so sad for us. We've invested so much money in you, but let's move on." So they proceeded, however, to treat SeaBiscuit as a losing racehorse. So he was trained in a weird way. You know, he would be used to incite the real racehorses. He would be invited to run backwards. He was not treated well. So he entered into his adulthood as a horse quite inconsolable, quite angry, quite not fit for human consumption, not fit for horse consumption. He was just a bitchy horse. So, they initially tried everything, but nothing really worked. So ultimately you have an adult racehorse who's not a racehorse because he's too small and lazy, and he's inconsolable and, cranky, a cranky horse. But for me to pull this back to us, we also, we appear on this planet to our parents and our situation, and how many of us were not seen as children, right? I'm not seen as children. You start dancing on the table and your mother says, "Oh, for God's sakes, get off the table. You can't dance." Or, we draw a picture that we're so proud of, and a well-meaning aunt or teacher goes, "Oh my God, that's terrible." So SeaBiscuit's entry into life is not really a whole lot different than our entry into life. But then something happens. So through a twist of fate, 3 men come into this horse's life. One is Jeff Bridges, who plays the character of Charles Howard, who buys him, who inherits him. And this character, Charles Howard himself, is broken because he and his wife, their son died, and his wife divorced him. So he is also an inconsolable man. And then you have Red Pollard, who's played by Tobey Maguire. So Red Pollard grew up in poverty, and he was actually thrown out of his family's life because they had too many children. And he's also an inconsolable man. And then you have Tom Smith, who's a homeless a purposeless horse trainer he's actually a Buddha guy, but his played by Chris Cooper. So you have these three men who come into this horse's life. And the story actually appears as if these three men save this horse's life. But the truth is that this horse saved their lives. That is the truth. The truth is that, as I always say, the universe conspired for the greater good of everyone concerned. This horse named SeaBiscuit and three inconsolable men. So the story proceeds. Excuse me. The story proceeds. The next part I love the most, which don't give up this idea that we, all of us, grow up in some ways not realizing who we really are. We just don't know who we really are. We don't know what we really want. We don't know what we're supposed to do from a spiritual standpoint. I mean, as a minister, I'm here to tell you that you are definitely an on-purpose person. You're supposed to be here. Your soul wants to be here. You came here to do something magnificent, but we don't know that because nobody ever told us we were magnificent. At least in my family, I'm hoping you had somebody to tell you were magnificent, but no one really said, "Oh my God, Denise, you are here to do great things in life. We support you. What can we do for you? How can we help you?" So we don't really enter into adulthood knowing that, right? So we have inside of us this something that people live whole lifetimes and never express that something. We can live whole lifetimes and never know what that something is. So I want to fast forward to really this part about releasing your inner splendor. So one of the best parts of this movie, in fact, the most meaningful, there's actually two parts that are most meaningful for me, that the jockey played by Tobey Maguire, one day, they're trying to teach this horse how to run, and they're trying to undo the past of this horse, because remember that nobody would let this horse run because he was too small. He was too small and nobody thought he could run, so they just wrote him off. Loser, we lost our money, lost our investment. Oh, too bad. Let's use him in ways that will help the real racehorses. So Tobey Maguire is Tobey Maguire is the broken jockey who has no family. He's also blind in one eye. He's out on the track. And so when they train race horses, they train them on a track. They're going round and round on a track. And SeaBiscuit is terrible on the track. But of course he's terrible because he was trained to run too slow, trained to run backwards. He was used as bait for the real horses. One day, this is the most moving part of this movie for me. One day, Tobey Maguire has this brilliant idea to stop trying to make SeaBiscuit do something and to allow SeaBiscuit to do whatever it is he wanted to do. So what he did is he dropped the reins and said, "SeaBiscuit, do what you want to do." And do you know what this horse did? He ran really, really fast. So he got off the track and this horse just ran for his life. So I love the idea of how do we take ourselves off track? How do we change what has been so hammered into us? So we've accepted as true about ourselves. We've accepted whatever anyone has ever said about us as true and real. And has anyone ever said to you, "You know what? Let's not do that. Do what you want. Go and do what you want." I know your father was a dentist and your grandfather was a dentist, and of course you're a dentist, but what do you want? Maybe you're just a mediocre dentist. What would you love to be? And all of a sudden this dentist says, oh my God, I want to be a pediatrician. So he goes back to school and becomes or she goes back to school and becomes a pediatrician. Or you have someone who's, who just went from home to marriage to college. They were an accountant. And when you say to them, well, what do you want to do? Oh my God, I want to be a painter. And you give this person a canvas and some paint, and all of a sudden they are alive. That's what happened to SeaBiscuit. SeaBiscuit became alive, and he ran. He was always a racehorse. He just needed somebody to invite him to go off track. Are you with me? So this is completely and totally inspiring for me. I think I suppose in some ways it happened to me a little bit that way, though I guess it did totally happen to me that way. I remember this same husband who was the horse, who was a gambler. If you came in late, you missed the story. You'll have to rewatch it. But the same husband who used to lose all of our money at the horse track, he and I had a difficult year one year, and we needed a spiritual community. So we started church hopping, and we ended up at Agape, the Agape International Spiritual Center in Los Angeles, under the direction of Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith. I speak of him often, so most of you know who he is. And something in my time there with him and in that spiritual community began to open me up to become kind of a different being than I was before. So before, I was a technology executive in Los Angeles. I worked for a multi-office law firm. I made lots of money, and I did technology for them. And it was okay. And I didn't feel like it was really who I was, but it was okay. And through my time at the spiritual center, one year I was on a retreat, and I just had this realization that what I wanted to be was I wanted to work with people. I wanted to make a difference in life with people from the heart. So at 45, I quit my technology job and became a full-time minister. Well, I became a full-time minister at 50. And so I kind of relate to this horse. I do. Like something took me off the track of my life, because I could have done that till I died. Most people do what they're doing till they die. Some people never really find their inner splendor. What that thing, that God-given thing inside of us that is amazing and awesome and wonderful. So the first spiritual perspective on this movie, well, there's three. I'll come back to the first one, which I started, and I'll end with that. But the second one is to let yourself go off track, to take yourself off track, or to let someone take you off track. So maybe there's something within you that needs expression, that needs to have a voice, that needs to be let out. And that happened in this movie in a spectacular way. The second thing that happened, Naples Family Insights. Oh, hello, Naples Family Insights. The second thing that happened is very soon into the movie, both the horse and the jockey break their legs. Very soon into the movie. Like, the movie is very long. It's like 2.5 hours. And within 30 minutes, all three men have come on into SeaBiscuit's life. SeaBiscuit is now running and winning races. And then both the jockey and the horse break their legs. And it's very tempting. Hi, Toby. It's very tempting in the movie to be devastated, because it's like, oh my God, this is a tragedy. This is just a tragedy. It's the saddest thing I've ever seen. Because you have this forlorn horse, you have this broken jockey, they're winning races, and then they break their legs. And normally in life, when a horse breaks its leg, you put the horse down. Not so much with people, but. So the beauty of this particular spiritual perspective is that both the jockey and the horse go out to heal. They have to. They have to go heal their broken leg. So together they're out to pasture. They spend time together. They talk together. They walk together. They commune in nature together. And both of them ultimately heal their broken legs and go back to win the race yet one more time. Now, for a horse, you just have to get the beauty of this. For a horse to be an award-winning racehorse after breaking its leg is like friggin' impossible. But this is real life. It actually happened. So the spiritual perspective I draw from that and talk about tonight is to not freeze frame your life on the tragedy. That all of us have had tragedies. Terrible things have happened. And many people get stuck there. They freeze frame their life on the divorce, or they freeze frame their life on the diagnosis, or they freeze frame their life on the fire, or they freeze frame their life on getting fired. This movie and this particular story says, don't freeze frame. You don't have to freeze frame it, because you can rise again. You can heal. You can do it again. Now, listen, I'm in the middle of the miracle of the resurrection. I'm in the middle of, I did the talk at Unity's Naples this morning, had so much fun, but I am so deeply moved at how it is even humanly possible, which it isn't, of course, that I am back at Unity Naples with this community that I loved talking again, post-stroke. So the spiritual perspective, not to be minimized, is that you can get past a dark night. You can. And part of it is outside of your control, that you just have to let it, you have to allow it. Part of it is in your control, which is to allow it. Like, is it possible? Is it possible for you to get past the tragedy and not just live to tell the story, but thrive to tell the story? So I love that. It moved me deeply when I saw the movie. It's moved me deeply for 15 years. I keep talking about it because this whole idea of becoming who you are and also surviving the parts of being human, the parts of being incarnated that are really, really challenging. And there are really, really challenging. People go through terrible, terrible experiences. But don't get stuck there. Don't freeze frame on the tragedy. Focus on the phoenix rising. Focus on the goodness and what's possible. In God, all things are possible. There is nothing that God cannot do for you. And I'm not talking about an external something offering you something that isn't being offered to everyone. I'm talking about the great love of life that undergirds us and cradles us and supports us and loves us. We just have to say, yes, I accept rising again. So the third perspective. So the first perspective is unleashing your inner splendor, like go off track. Let yourself go off track. The second is don't freeze frame on the small or large disasters in your life. Don't stop there. Don't think that's the end of you. It is so easy to think it's the end of you, but there are angels amongst us. Somebody will come and lift you, and you will once again be a person who makes a difference to other people and to yourself. You will once again run another race. And I suppose the third perspective for me is always this idea, these three, I started here, which is this movie looks as if it's about three men, Jeff Bridges, Chris Cooper, and Tobey Maguire, the actors, who come together to save the life of this horse. And in truth, what happened at the end of the movie is a horse saved them. So there's something about really leaning into spiritual community, really leaning into the awareness that everything is conspiring for your greater good, that all the people in your life, the people that you touch, the angels that you don't know yet, the ones that you do, that we are interconnected. I spoke a little bit at church today about how there is a communication system that we did not invent that's spiritual. It's a way that our minds reach out and touch other people. I told the story. I'm going to tell it now because it's very, very good. It's a story about the giraffes and the acacia trees. So here's a story. It's very short. So giraffes love acacia trees. They love them. I mean, they love them like we love banana splits. They love to eat acacia trees. And acacia trees are very, very, very thorny African trees. And left to their own devices, the giraffe would eat the entire thing and the tree would probably die. And there are huge thorns, but it has a very long tongue. Giraffes have very long tongues, so they go amongst the thorns and they eat all the leaves. Now, the acacia tree has a defense mechanism, which is that it starts producing a very bitter chemical called tannins, which giraffes hate. So in order to protect itself and to stop the giraffes from eating it in its entirety, it will start producing tannins, which then invite the giraffe to go somewhere else. The magic here is while the giraffe is munching on this acacia tree, the acacia tree itself is sending out communications in the root system, through its root system, through the underground, to all of the acacia trees in the area to start producing tannins, so that the giraffes, when they get to those acacia trees, will not eat them. So do you understand what I just said? So one acacia tree is informing the other trees to start producing tannins before the giraffes get there. That is such a beautiful, amazing thought that if trees have that much intelligence, if there's that much intelligence in nature, just think about what's really here for us. So when we talk about spiritual principles and perspectives, some relationship that the SeaBiscuit had to these three men who came into its field of awareness, and they all worked together for the greater good of all four of them. All four of them won. All four of them healed. All four of them were raised. So those are the three perspectives really from SeaBiscuit, is just the amazing synchronicity in life, and to say yes to it, to say yes to releasing to go off track so that you can release your God-given gifts and talents, and to not freeze frame your life on the small or big disasters. Three beautiful perspectives from this movie that have continued to touch me and move me my entire career. And I'm probably sure I'm not done doing it, even now. So that is our lesson for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did once again. So that is it. This is Sunday Night of Life, Spiritual Perspectives. I'm not sure what we're doing next week, but I think we're going to talk about love. I think we're going to talk about the spiritual perspectives on love in a new and wonderful way. So I will send out an announcement, and as always, I'll send out a written blog about tonight's talk. So if you don't get my blog, please go to my website, which is DeniseSchubert.com. DeniseSchubert.com. Well, I don't see it here, but DeniseSchubert.com is my website. On my website, you can see beautiful pictures of animals from Africa. You can read past blogs, And you can also sign up for the newsletter in case you're not getting it. If you want to support Sunday Night Alive and Spiritual Perspectives, I happily accept your tithes and love offerings. I'm inspired by them, actually. So you can do that on my website through deniseschubert.com/donations or PayPal, Zelle, or Venmo at revdschubert@gmail.com. So that is our lesson for tonight. I'm so happy you joined me here. I'm streaming to you live from Naples, Florida, where it is so hot and steamy, though I think it's hot and steamy everywhere right now. So I'm going to close our time together in prayer. For those of you who are new to New Thought or new to affirmative prayer, we're not praying to God to do something for us. We're accepting that as really illustrated through these spiritual perspectives, that there's some great good in the universe already being bestowed upon us. There's something that we need to do to make it welcomed into our life. So our prayers are about getting into harmony with that. And so stay with me just one more minute as I bestow blessings upon you. Take a breath. Take a breath. Feel your magnificent existence. Feel that inner splendor that is within you, the part of you that is whole and perfect, that part of you that nothing in this human incarnation has ever touched, even remotely, that you are as glorious now as you were on the day that you were born. You are as perfect, as innocent. Truly, it does not matter what you've done or what has been done to you. And so in that experience of wholeness, we come together, and I speak a word of thanksgiving for the time that we have spent, for the aha moments, for the illuminations, the inspirations, the openings, the softenings, the beginning to align ourselves with the greater good that is surrounding us always. I know for each one of us that we leave here open to whatever life has in store for us, knowing that whatever life has in store for us is good, knowing that the people we meet, the places we go, the things that we dream of, everything is communicating on the spiritual underground, just like the giraffes and the acacia trees, that we can trust that whatever it is that we need, people, money, health, joy, insight, wisdom, and guidance, comes to us effortlessly. This is what happens when we are aligned with love. And so I invite you to let go of any resentments, any anger, any past holding on to, any tragedies. Wherever you freeze framed your life, we release it. We release it. And we just show up in the next moment, willing, open, and available to be a blessing to the world and to be blessed by the world. And so for all of this and so much more than my words can say, I am grateful, grateful, and beyond grateful. We just let this be together, and we do it by saying, and so it is. Amen. All right, beloveds, thank you once again for joining me on this glorious Sunday night. I will see you sometime this week, maybe at Unity Naples next week, or next Sunday night on Sunday Night Alive. Peace and blessings.